I recognize that listening to each of the leaders and being patient was probably the most important thing, and that I need to learn to be more patient and listen. That was one of the main values, and it led to being much more informed of the unique use cases that each of the leaders had and the different solutions that they were proposing. I recognize that each of the leaders were quite strong and informed based on industry and best practices. The piece that I recognize is while the challenges were unique, their solutions were very different. I don't think that any of them had the data that represents this is the best method for me. So it is a very well informed from a global practices perspective, but the question becomes from a practice within their organization, does the global practices match their needs? That's what I was trying to gather. I don't know if I picked up on that, but I did recognize that most of the leaders are extremely well informed, and they're hoping and very aspirational to see their organization advance and match their skill set. I feel it's the practice. So it's extremely hard to get it right, but it's the most important approach to risk management. So if we're talking about cybersecurity, practice is what makes it perfect, right? When benchmark comes in, we challenge it from two areas of measurement: adoption, which would be our SDLC maturity rating and DevOps EQ application, and then the depth of the security and controls and the practice of those controls within our zero trust model to find gaps in capabilities, so that you can recognize and distinguish between people aren't adopting because it's difficult or they're not adopting because it doesn't exist. Both need to be managed and implemented so that their thought leadership and passion to improve gets easily adopted with least resistance. So the only reason that we do the assessments is because nobody has the data, and generally a customer will not know what actually needs to be fixed and for what reason. So we do that first. And then from an implementation perspective, I mean, we're a company of orchestration and automation. To implement in-band security fitness, we've created that term, governance engineering, security pipeline governors, security fitness. They're all terms we've been inventing and writing the courseware for, so that organizations can start becoming in-band security versus out-of-band security. So I think that's the biggest issue that we can solve, is implement in-band security while we start with an assessment so we know what actually is valuable to their needs.